Okay, we want to welcome Coach Matt Painter, Braden Smith, and Trey Kaufman-Wren. Again, the order's going to be Coach will do an opening statement, and then we're going to stick with the players, let them get dismissed, and come back to Coach. So Coach, if you'll go ahead and make an opening statement, we'll get moving.
Yeah, I thought, the difference for us, obviously they're the best offensive rebounding team in the country, and they got 14 offensive rebounds. They average 16. We had to offset some of that by getting more offensive rebounds ourselves, but then not turning the basketball over. We have the capabilities to take care of the basketball, and we didn't. And I thought that was the difference, just the possessions there in the game. It's been, for us, like sometimes our ability to shoot and play make and can save us in a game. And tonight, the shots didn't go down. So 2 of those threes were at the end of the game. So you really, you can count them, but it's a little bit different when you hit, shots in the middle of a game that are making a difference, either creating a lead or cutting into a lead. So I think it's, just important for us that we gotta do a better job of taking care of the ball. We gotta do a better job of being efficient. We had too many possessions where we end up with whoever had the ball. Now it's just got to take a Hail Mary. We probably had like 5 or 6 possessions like that, and we just need those possessions back. And with that said, I think you got to give a lot of credit to Texas A&M because they're a tough, hard-nosed, physical team, and they play a little bit differently than some of the teams we've played from their league. But there's still a lot of similarities there. We've beaten Alabama, we've beaten Ole Miss in their league. We still have to play Auburn. But I just thought they were the tougher team today. Obviously, we were fortunate enough to force them into 18 turnovers, and so I think that's a bright spot for us. But we just have to be better on the glass, and then we got to be better from an efficiency standpoint in taking care of the ball.
Nathan.
For both Nathan Barrett, Indy Star, for both Braden and Trey, today and some of the problems with the turnovers that he's talking about, did they feel at all reminiscent of what happened against Marquette, what happened against Penn State, and do you have a grasp on like what needs to be better to get out of those situations?
Yeah, I think personally, I think mine were just mental errors by me. I think I got to do a better job and take care of the ball because that is my job. And I think a couple of the other ones, I thought it was the same. I thought just us not being connected and not staying focused on that end and just was careless with it. And they took advantage of it and forced us into some of that.
Yeah, same with what he said.
Trey, it seemed like Sam King from the Journal and Courier. Trey, it seemed like you struggled to get the ball into the paint. What did they do? Was it physicality? Was it just the length that kind of took away those passing lanes? And I guess Brady, you can kind of touch on that a little bit too.
I think it's just their defensive coverage. They double from the baseline, and then their guards try to front as much as possible. And so they just put a big emphasis on not letting me get the ball. Just threw a lot of guys at me, but we gotta figure out how to deal with that. So
Yeah, I just felt if we got them spread out and we were moving and not standing being stagnant on offense, I felt like we did a good job of getting in the paint, and I felt like it was more open for me to create or for TK or whatever. So I thought if we did that, we would be more successful, and we didn't get to that enough.
Brian Newberg from GoldBlack.com. Braden, it was kind of transition that sort of carried you in the first half. The same opportunities didn't seem to be there in the second half. Was that the types of turnovers they were committing? Were they just doing a better job taking care of the ball or getting back?
Yeah, I think just when you push in transition, they got to find a man, and they're all going to the rim. And I was able to find some open spots and knock down some shots. And second half, some shots didn't fall and that I normally would make, and it's just part of the game.
Anything else for the players? Okay, we'll go ahead and dismiss them. Thank you very much. Questions for Coach?
Casey Bartley, Boiler Upland Rivals. Matt, in the first half, they shoot 55%. Second half, almost 20% worse. Is that just some results, or was there a little better defense in the second half?
Yeah, I thought we did a better job, even though not great, of containing the dribble. You saw the lob that happened early in that first half. The guy just beats us and really puts our big in a bad spot as he's opposite on the other block. But I just thought anytime you can't contain the dribble and you have to overhelp and then shots go up, they take tough shots. It's almost like centering the puck. Like they just take tough shots because they know they have two guys on the weak side, they're gonna kill you on the glass. So like those guards just wheel and deal, then you play pretty good D, but if you have to stay and help, they're one of those teams, if you can stay out of help and contain the dribble, now you got good blockout responsibilities. And if you're giving up some in some spots physically, now you're stuck. You're to the ball too much almost, if that makes any sense. But yeah, they got us there. I thought at times we did a good job rebounding. Then at other times we had to stop the ball, we had to double the post, and then the ball, got out of it. But they're not a great shooting team, and I thought, they made some key threes today. I think this is one of the better games percentage-wise. They've shot the basketball. They shoot 29% against high major teams. So, that had to do with maybe us over-helping and them spraying it out, and, shots were just too open. But there wasn't anything schematically different in the second half. We just did a little bit better job. We backed our guy up some and tried to, just kind of put our feet on the three-point line, but we couldn't do that with Wade Taylor because, he's got such good range.
Matt, Greg Delow here at Indy Star. You referenced the turnovers, and Braden said something like, just us not being connected led to some of that. How much of that is playing a team as physical as Texas A&M, and were you guys ready? I know you're ready for it, but it's kind of hard to be ready for it until you actually run into it, right?
Yeah, but we've played, NC State, and Ole Miss, and Alabama, Maryland, Penn State. So we've played a lot of people to be prepared for this. I thought he had some where they got physical with him, but then I thought he had some unforced errors too. When you go back and look at it, I always say if you had 6 turnovers, they all 6 of them stand alone. You just can't unless you got 3 seconds 6 times, right? So you're passing off of one hand, then you jump in the air and pass on the other one, and then you just don't make a pass and then you get it deflected. It's just not clean. You could just go through the list of stuff. He's just got to be better. It's one of those things that should give you confidence as a player because we always come back to him. He's a great player. And, there's not very many teams that are going to face other great teams or other good teams, however you want to look at it, when their 2 best players or three best players or 4 best players don't play well. And when we just got it, that's your job as a coach is to be able to get them to collectively play better together. And sometimes you can lose thought or lose kind of not give the other team credit. You still got to give the other team credit. They were out there too, right? And they were making those plays. But when you can handle it and pass it and you can run the show like him, you get a little spoiled sometimes, but there's always guys out there coming after you, defending you. He just had a super game the last game. Might have been one of his best games at Purdue. And I know he wants that, but we just got to be more consistent than we've been.
Matt, Dylan Sim from the Journal-Gazette. Fletcher had 12 points in the first half and none in the second half. What did they do to kind of slow him down and take him out of what he was doing?
Yeah, but we're going to play through, actions and different things. And, he was able to do a good job in that first half of when people were coming to him on closeouts, driving the basketball. He got one in transition. He got a couple others where he got to the free throw line. He made a couple layups there. He made a pull up to start the half. And so he got him in those closeouts. And in the second half, they did a better job. We didn't get him behind plays as much. And then that's where Fletcher's the best. When he gets clean looks or he gets somebody into a closeout, now he can attack that closeout and get there. He just didn't have as many opportunities as he did in the first half.
Obviously, teams are going to try to take Trey as much as possible. He was kind of, going through the list of the ways they did that today. At the same time, I think in all 3 of the losses, you've been able to trace back to getting away from going through him as being a problem. So I guess what's the solution to that when teams are taking that away? Is it not forcing it through him, but emphasizing it, or is it got to come from somewhere else to open that up?
Yeah, well, he got the basketball at times, especially in the first half. So the guys that had the ball the most, turned the ball over the most also. And then you're going to have more volume there, and you're going to probably have more turnovers there. But I thought they did a good job of knocking him out, and he's got to do a better job of being a receiver, and our guys have to do a better job of seeing him when he's open. And so you go back in the film, sometimes you get stuck as a coach watching the ball during the game, so you don't see the post up and how they were, but they're just a full front team. So whether that's, their 5 will play regular post defense. But everybody else, if we get the switch that we want, now you got to be able to post up that guard. What they do differently is they hold their low man. So they knock it out in the front, and they don't let you throw it over the top because they have a low man. And that's why you see when the ball moves quick, now you can get them into those closeouts. Now you can get that shot, you can get that drive. And that's what they want. I call it cover 2 like in football. So you got that outside guy covering 2, and if you force him to cover 2 with quick ball movement or action or a skip, now they're behind the play. That's why you see those 1 more passes and things of that nature. But no, it's a combination. It's a combination of our guys who have the basketball, recognizing when he's open, and then him being a better receiver.
Yeah, Craig Bowers, Boilers in the stands. CJ Cox has gotten a little bit more run in at least 2 out of the last 3 games and had 12 and 10 in 2 of those games. I guess, what are you seeing out of CJ that's earning him those minutes in these specific matchups?
Yeah, just trying to get guys out there that know what they're doing and can make shots. And just being a solid defensive player, being able to play without turning the basketball over. He can make shots. I thought he passed on a couple things tonight that he should have taken. He had the one where he tried to pass. He should have just shot a pull up. He turned it over in the first half. I think that's his only turnover. They might not have given it to him. He has 2. So, yeah, but that's just we're really searching. To get that consistency. So when the guys can make a couple shots and then he does a pretty good job guarding the basketball, he's got to keep working. He's got to keep working on keeping the ball in front of him. But all of our guards are that way. We've got to do a better job of keeping the ball in front of us because we're good in help. But if you shoot it out of the help, that's where we get in trouble right there. But no, I thought he had a good game. The last game, I thought he's done some good things. It's just really hard. It's a crowded backcourt there, so it's hard to give everybody minutes. But he's done a good job.
Okay, last 2 questions for Coach.
Ian Curtis with the Battalion. Coach, this is an A&M team that prides itself on its intensity, its hustle, anything offensive rebounding, down to loose balls. How do you kind of prepare your team for that, and then how do you think you'll reacted and kind of handled that?
Yeah, well, we've played a lot of people very similar to him already, and we just have to do a better job of taking care of the basketball. But I love their toughness. I love how hard they play. I've faced him at, I don't know how many stops. Definitely Virginia Tech. I didn't face him at Marquette. But, he's a good coach, known him for a long time. Works very hard at it, but he recruits to that physical, tough, athletic, and then just, they just went to where rebounding the basketball is their niche. And you can see it out there. And so like this right here, nobody feels good about it, but we're definitely a better team for playing them, because if you can handle that physicality and realize that's always your measuring stick, right? So when you play people like, now, like, oh, that's what it looks like. And we faced a lot of people like that so far. And so that's the standard. You want to keep your program at a certain standard, and you can only do it by playing the best teams that are out there. And obviously the SEC's got a lot of talent.
Last year, obviously, you had Zach and Trey that could score in the post. It's been pretty reliant on Trey this year. How much of a concern is that, the offensive production from the post players that you have coming off your bench?
Yeah, I think the concern for us in this game is getting him the ball, right? We didn't do a great job of getting him the ball, or he didn't do a great job of being a receiver, probably a little bit of both. So, you just go back to the drawing board. We've had it before, like whether it's Carl Landry or Jawan Johnson, like we've had one really good big, and then the next guys are more guys that are, defenders or rebounders or however you want to categorize them. So that's not my concern as much as it is the efficiency of how we play. We got to be more efficient in what we do. We got to be able to pass and catch the basketball and play the game and get quality shots. And there's another team out there, and you got to give them credit. But we just had too many possessions where we didn't get quality shots. And whenever you get quality shots, you got a chance to rebound it. But even besides that, even if you don't rebound it and you don't score, you're going to set your defense. But when you're playing from behind and you're taking tough ones, and they dictated way more than we wanted tonight. I thought their defense dictated a lot of things. And we have faced teams, as good as them, as athletic as them, maybe not as good as an offensive rebounding team as them, but we have faced teams as good as them or even better than them. And so, we're prepared for that. So that's what's frustrating for us, is that give them credit, but I also felt like we beat ourselves. I felt we had some unforced errors there that, that you just can't have. If you're going to get out rebounded by 11, you can't do that. You got to be able to make more shots. You got to be more efficient out there. But no, Trey's worked really hard, and to his defense, he's been very patient. A lot of people would have ran out the door, right? And he hasn't done that. He has stayed and he has worked. And today wasn't his best day, but it wasn't my best day either. It wasn't our team's best day, and we got to stay with it. And I think that's I never had it as a player, but when you got guys like that, we're not going anywhere. Like we're going back to him, and we're just going to keep working. And I know that builds confidence in a player when you put yourself in that position.
Coach, thank you very much.
Thank you.